This is called the high voltage box. Hopefully you'll never have to do anything with it, but sometimes you will. So to open it up, right now I have everything off using this switch on the side. Flip it up, everything is off. We're gonna keep it off for a second. So it has a little diagram here of how the power works. Look at it as if it's on its side though. So this diagram reflects this. So this is called a power contactor and relay. This is the contactor and relay for lane 1, so the odd number lane. This is the contactor and relay for the elevator. This is the contactor and relay for lane 2, the even number lane. And then you have here the power cords. So just as like you're plugging something into a wall outlet, that's what these are here. So lanes 1, lane 2, and then elevator. And then these are the fuse overload switches. These should always be pressed in like this. If it's ever protruding out far more than this, that's an issue that you gotta write down. Make sure I'm made aware of it, because that means somewhere there's an overload. Sometimes it happens and there's no actual issue. You just had to recontact something and the overload fuse blew. Press the overload fuse back in. That's what this button is, the overload fuse. And sometimes you're just fine. Now, these overload switches and relays will sometimes kill themselves to save the machine's power and motor. If a lane has been tangled for too long and no one's gotten to it, maybe it happened at the end of someone's game, end of someone's time, they thought that their time was just over, meanwhile their lane was actually tangled. The next time you go to give that lane away, it'll be dead. So it won't be working, you'll come back here, you'll see it's tangled, oh, okay. You'll fix the tangle, you'll try to turn it back on, still nothing will happen. That's what these are for. You have to recontact power. So right in here, this is a button. This is a button. This is a button. You can press it. These red switches are also buttons. You can press those. Don't touch any of the metal, because those are conduits. But you can press these buttons. So let's turn it back on. Now, the middle contactor for the elevator, you can see that that button is pushed in all the way. Whereas lanes 1 and 2, the button is not pushed in. When the button's pushed in, that is forcing power. So I press the button in, lane 1 turns on. Oh, and then it presses in to continue contact and we're good. So if you hit this red button, that's kind of like a kill switch. The middle one is the elevator. Now the elevator power just died. Let it go, the elevator power restarts, and both machines also restart because the elevator acts as a manager control. So the elevator kind of controls the machines in a sense that the elevator needs to be on for the machines to be on. But that's kind of what these are for. They're the power contactor. So like I said, a lane is tangled for too long, the lane shut off, you try to turn the lane back on, you see it's tangled, but you can't get it to power on, do anything. Press these little buttons, get a pencil or something, just press it in. Once you hear that click, that's how you know you're good. If there's no click, again, that's something you should write down because that means that the contactor's probably bad and I'll have to replace it.